Max Verstappen is inching closer to the driver's title if there were any doubts that many might have had owing to his slump over the last few races. The Brazilian Grand Prix rectified all of that, shutting all critics and voices down. A dominant display in the most unexpected circumstances saw Verstappen increase the gap between him and second-placed Lando Norris in the driver's standings. Even the tricky weather in Brazil and his starting position at the grid did not stop Verstappen from turning things around and winning his first race since June this season. This time, Verstappen didn't need any ugly tactics or rough racing. The Dutchman overcame the horrors of the past 1 month to inch closer to a fourth successive driver's title. Here's how it all happened and how Verstappen turned his fortunes around. Take a look.
A rainy circuit in Sao Paulo made the Brazilian Grand Prix an exciting affair for the driver's title. A wet and chaotic race affected by crashes, safety car interventions and long stoppages even before the halfway mark saw a champion rise from what now feels like a minor slump. From the horrors of the last few weeks to arguably winning the best race of his career, Red Bull's Max Verstappen won his 8th Grand Prix title of the season. This despite starting 17th on the grid. And the Dutchman did not just win the race, but he secured it in some style. With almost a 20-second advantage over second-placed Alpine's Esteban Ocon, Verstappen gave it back to all his critics. Because before the Brazilian Grand Prix, Verstappen was nowhere near his best. In just the last race, the Red Bull driver was penalized twice at the Mexican Grand Prix. And despite finishing third at the US GP, he was accused of ugly tactics by McLaren and Lando Norris. At the race prior to that, the Singapore Grand Prix, Verstappen was asked to do community service for foul language being used at a press conference. What made it worse was that his failure to win a race or finish on the podium almost impacted Red Bull's chances of maintaining the lead in the constructors' standings. The only title is the Drivers' Championship, because before the race, Verstappen still had a 47-point advantage over McLaren's Lando Norris. All he needed was the right headspace to maintain that lead. But his headspace took a major toll after he was pushed back even before the race started. Verstappen was set to start in the 12th place on the grid, which is bad enough. And that position became 17th due to an engine penalty, with Red Bull guilty of breaching FIA's rules. And to make matters worse, McLaren's Lando Norris started number 1 on the grid. Reasons enough for Verstappen to not expect anything from the race, the driver's title slipping away. But it took Verstappen's champion mindset to come out on top. He passed 6 cars on lap 1, was racing at the 10th position in the second lap and made the hard grind through the rest of the field to take the lead. And once Verstappen was in a commanding position, no one could stop him, making Verstappen's mood go from this to this.
I don't even know where to start, because my emotions today have been from almost trying to destroy the garage to winning the race. But I mean unbelievable, to win here from so far back on the grid.
With 3 more races to go, the driver's title is very much in Verstappen's grasp. With a 62-point advantage over Lando Norris, all he needs to do is dig deep and draw from his champion mindset. Because all of a sudden, it feels like Verstappen has got wings, and it will take something to clip his wings off.
Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action. Speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
Tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.